Hello there and welcome back to another alternate build. Today we'll be taking a look at my alternate build for the Imperial Dropship Transport, which is what it says on lego.com. It's the the Death Trooper and Night Trooper battle pack, which we did end up picking up two so that I could have at least 3 Death Troopers, though we actually ended up with 5 Death Troopers in the set, considering we only see 3 at any given point in the Ahsoka show. But check out my Duel on Peridia display because we put quite a bit of work into that. We took 2 of these battle packs, 2 of the Duel on Peridia sets, and also a Star Destroyer, which we made look like Thrawn's Chimera. It was a load of fun, took us a while, but we're finally here with what to do with the battle packs. Let me know if you want instructions for this build. They'll be coming out eventually for channel members, but if there are enough people asking, I might make it a public video. And like I said, this set uses 2 battle packs, so we can get all 8 minifigures inside, and not just the minifigures, but also their weapons. I guess before we take a look at the actual build, I should talk a bit about what this is meant to be. So LEGO have a history creating the Dropship Transports, which I'm pretty sure there's another word for them, but Dropship Transports are what we all know them as. LEGO created one back in the day, then have redone it twice for anniversary sets and once more for this battle pack. And you can see I'll have all the images up on screen. They look nothing like each other. Well, I can't say that. The first 3 definitely have some sort of resemblance, but they could be completely different ships for all we know. The first 2 are the closest together. Third one takes some creative liberties, and the 4th one doesn't really match up to any of the previous 3, at least not thinking back on it. But the ship that this is based off didn't exist when LEGO created their first one. Since then it has, but this is a LEGO original ship that did feature in the Force Unleashed games with Starkiller, Galen Marek. You probably already know what I'm talking about, and that's the only time ever we've seen them designed outside of LEGO bricks. So LEGO really could do whatever they want with this design. I don't think that game's going to be sneaking into canon anytime soon. Could you imagine someone as powerful as Starkiller? So I have gone off the designs for Force Unleashed and fit 8 Stormtroopers or any sort of troopers. Death Troopers, if you have 8, you can fit 8 Death Troopers in here inside the build. Now it's time to take a look. Here is the main build, and I call it the main build because we have actually got a side build for this set, a quick 360, even though we never see the back of this ship, or at least I couldn't find any reference images for the backside of this ship. Maybe I have to hop in game and take a look at what it actually looks like. I would love to play it on a future stream, but there were no reference images. We took some creative liberties with that. But everything you see from the backside forward is designed like we see in the game. The twin cockpits with the nose separating them down the middle, even these little spikes at the front, and my favorite design has to be the wings for how simple they are. If you would like to see us build this on stream, you can go back, check out the VOD. I'll leave it linked in description. It was a blast, and we spoke about so much more than Force Unleashed, Ahsoka, and LEGO. Go check it out, highly recommend. We have used pretty much all the pieces in this build, and a lot of them went to making a mechanism that could lift the entire top section off so that we could reveal all the troops, and more so get into the troops. To fit 8 troopers here, we had to make use of these panels on the side, which meant there was no way I would be sneaking my hand inside to get those middle troopers standing. No chance I'm getting my hands in there, and you know, most of us have quite non-kid hands, I guess. We're not squeezing our hands in there. So let's pop off all these troopers and take a look what it looks like without them. And the final one is gone. We have a nice black floor, which I've taken from recent sets, I guess, the UCS Death Star. We've all probably seen images of that. A lot of the Imperial shuttles and Imperial battle stations and just places of work have fully black floors. Wanted to continue that for this ship because it's a nice dark model. I would be willing to say if LEGO were to make one based off the game, it would be dark grey rather than black. But black works for the Imperials and for the Empire, so we've gone all the way black using all the black pieces on the inside. And The only place that isn't really true is the cockpit, where we've got not enough of the black tiles, had to use one of the 1x2s on the front, so gone with grills, as a heated seat, perhaps even an aircon seat for the summer. And I really like, I can't remember who said it, but one of the commenters in chat said about using these 1x2 sloped grills as the control panels. I think that's really cool, and it also looks like quite a bit of aircon blasting on. On the roof of the aircraft, we also have the back that can detach. If you don't like it and would rather have a blank back instead of having these engines, or perhaps you want to pop it off and design your own, go ahead. But this allows the roof to be placed down as a separate entity. And you can see the cockpits are held on with ball joints just to get a slight angle so we can enclose the stormtroopers rather than placing it on top, and also get a look at just some of the other pieces we've hidden, like the stud shooters on the back to act as an engine. We didn't have an engine for this ship, so best include that, and also 2 clips to hold blasters on the back, with 4 other clips featuring on this ship. There are 2 blasters hidden behind the pilots and 2 more hidden just on the back here. Take a look at the other side, another blaster on the back and 1 behind the pilot. However, because we have 8 of these stormtroopers in the ship, we needed to get 8 blasters hidden. So let's get all the troopers back in. The roof placed neatly on top. By the way, check out these teeth elements on the top that slot right into each other, which we spent the most time designing this connection up here to be as flush as it can be. And then we're going to attach the engine block just on the back, like so, and push this to the side so we can take a look at our side build. This actually uses every single remaining piece from both battle packs, not including the spare pieces because these were built before taking them apart for the stream. But this is a weapons rack to act as a little side piece to our main ship here for the 2 pilots' blasters. And why, you may ask, the 2 pilots will be in need of blasters at any point? Well, we've got to make everyone count, and we don't actually have any pilot minifigures for stormtroopers. I don't think LEGO have given us any sort of Imperial pilot yet, which would be really nice because the chest piece would double as one of those jet troopers we see outside the Death Star in A New Hope. And I would love to have got some of those with the Death Star. But these regular troopers will be in need of blasters. So as they fly into the battlefield, we'll use a bit of our imagination here, and they drop off the 6 troopers. They can then return to base, load up with the weapons, maybe even pick up a few more troopers, drop them off at the battlefield, and run out guns blazing to take down. Hopefully they're not fighting Starkiller. Maybe it's a smaller, unnamed rebel faction with a lot less plot armor. I forgot to mention we also used a ton of the 1x3 tiles as feet to raise the model up just a little bit. I've built quite a few alternate builds now on this channel, and my Kenobi minifigure scale Delta is one of my favorites, and we can now add this to the list. I'm trying to think of other models that I've done using pieces from sets. Maybe Rex's minifigure scale Y-Wing using only 5 of the microfighters. It's always the smaller ones that interest me because of those limited parts. But like I say, if you want instructions, let me know, and that video will be coming very, very soon, including how to put together this side build. Very important step, and thank you so much for supporting the work here on the channel. Till next time, may the bricks be with you always. Meow.